Terrestrial Planets by Noah Germain, John Dickerson, and Braden Boatwright. Mercury. The earliest mentions are around 2nd millennium BC by the Sumerians. The Greeks associated Mercury with their god Hermes, which was the messenger of the gods. It was named after Hermes because the planet was noticed to move quickly through the sky, just as Hermes was believed to. Mercury orbits so quickly around the Sun that early civilizations believed it was actually two different stars. The Romans then gave it the name Mercury after their god, similar to the Greeks, which was the messenger god as well. Astronomers didn't realize that Mercury was a planet until 1543, when Copernicus published his sun-centered model of the solar system. In the 17th century, the first telescopic observations were made by Galileo. Exploration. The first spacecraft to see Mercury up close was Mariner 10 in 1974 by the Soviets. Unfortunately, it was only able to see one hemisphere over the course of 3 flybys. Later, NASA launched its drone titled Messenger, which completed its first flyby in January of 2008 for a total of 3 flybys, just as Mariner 10 did. Messenger's objectives included discovering the density, geologic history, planetary structure, such as its core and mantle, crust, and how the magnetic field functions. Surface. Mercury was heavily bombarded by asteroids and comets about 3.8 billion years ago, during the late heavy bombardment period. The cratering tends to be deeper than most terrestrial planets due to the lack of a thick atmosphere. The atmosphere on Mercury is very, very thin. Messenger discovered that areas of both poles are covered in permanent shadow. Although it is a stretch, this creates the possibility of water being on Mercury, north of poles. Pictures from Messenger indicates a barren and desolate landscape. Caloris Basin, one of the largest impact craters in the solar system and largest feature on Mercury, is 810 miles in diameter. Here is a picture of Caloris Basin. Surface continued. The surface of Mercury, although it is a desolate landscape, includes scarps, roofs, smooth plains, which cover much of the North Pole region, flowing lava, which are believed to have created narrow channels, hollows, which are also located near the poles. Did you know the Sun appears 2.5 times larger on Mercury than on Earth? Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system as well as the closest to our Sun. A year in Mercury is 88 days, yet a Mercury day is 176 Earth days. Mercury has more craters and impact marks than any other planet because the planet is geologically inactive. Mercury has no seasons. Mercury's axial tilt is just 2.11 degrees. Mercury also has no moons. And here's a picture of Mercury not in real color by NASA. We're excited.
That I was talking about. Now we're going to talk about Venus. First, we're going to talk about the name origin. Venus's name originates from the Roman goddess of love and beauty, which is pictured to the right. Ancient astronomers are believed to have named Venus after the most beautiful of all gods because Venus shines the brightest of the 5 planets visible from Earth. Venus can be seen as the brightest planet in our sky due to its proximity to Earth and because of how the clouds reflect sunlight. It's often referred to as the morning star or the evening star. Now we're going to discuss what it's made of. First of all, Venus is 300 to 500 million years old, and Earth and Venus are considered to be sister planets because they have very similar mass, density, size, gravity, and composition. And Venus's core is made of iron with a radius of about 1,900 miles, and most of its atmosphere is composed of carbon dioxide. And the picture to the right is a picture of Venus without its atmosphere. This is a picture of its surface. Temperatures are extremely high in Venus's thick, rapidly spinning atmosphere. The temperatures can actually reach around 880 degrees Fahrenheit. There are numerous layers of clouds in its atmosphere that are made of sulfuric acid, and they hinder our view of the planet's surface. Venus has a surface pressure about 90 times that of Earth. And now some facts about Venus overall. Venus's rotation is much slower than Earth's rotation, and it spins actually in the opposite direction that Earth does. One day on Venus is 243 Earth days, and 1 year is 225 Earth days. So it's kind of fascinating that a day is actually longer on Venus than a year is. And there is no magnetic field on Venus because it rotates too slow to generate one like Earth. And the picture here is a picture from a satellite going around Earth, and it's the small dot that you see is actually Venus. Also, while it orbits in the opposite direction, it rotates. Clouds at the top of the atmosphere whip around the planet with winds traveling at nearly 224 miles per hour. But the winds are much different on its surface because they are much more mild. There are few craters on Venus's surface because small meteors are burnt up in its atmosphere, which is very thick, and they just disintegrate as they travel towards the surface. All over its surface, there are more than 1,000 volcanoes bigger than 12 miles in diameter. And pictured to the right here is the volcano Idun Mons, and that's just one of almost 1,000. And now we will talk about some of the visitors that have reached Venus. Venus has had more than 20 visitors from Earth recently, and Mariner 2 was actually the first one in 1962. And Venus had the first satellite to land on another planet, which was the Soviet Venera 7. And the Venera 9 took the first photos of Venus's surface, which is the image you see to your right.
Okay, now we're going to talk about Earth, our home planet. Earth is one of 8 major planets in our known solar system, and the 5th largest behind the gas planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Earth is the only known planet in our universe to be inhabited by living organisms, with a surface that consists of 71% water. Climate. The average temperature on Earth is a cool 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperatures on Earth vary greatly depending on the season and location. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the lowest temperatures on Earth can fall as low as negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit. The highest temperatures on Earth can reach at temperatures as high as 136 degrees Fahrenheit and surface temperatures reaching up to 159 degrees Fahrenheit. Atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere is primarily comprised of the element nitrogen, which makes up approximately 78% of the Earth's total atmosphere. Oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere makes up approximately 21% of the Earth's atmosphere, and the remaining 1% is made up of other various natural gases. Earth's atmosphere is made up of 5 different layers that are thickest near the surface and thin out gradually as elevation increases until eventually merging with space. The troposphere, the first layer above the surface, and contains half of the Earth's total atmosphere. Weather occurs in this layer. Stratosphere. The second layer contains the ozone layer that absorbs harmful rays from the sun. Mesosphere. This layer is mainly responsible for the destruction of meteors as they attempt to enter lower levels of Earth's atmosphere. Thermosphere. The fourth layer of Earth's atmosphere, this layer is the location of the space shuttle orbit. Exosphere. This layer merges into space and is the thinnest layer of the 5. Composition. The Earth is made up of 3 distinctive parts: core, mantle, and crust. The core is located at the Earth's center. The core is made up of 2 parts, the inner and outer core. The inner core has a radius of 760 miles and is composed of solid iron. The outer core is approximately 1,335 miles thick and is composed of liquid nickel-iron alloy. The outer core spins at a faster rate than the rest of the planet, and this is thought to cause Earth's magnetic field. The mantle is the second layer of Earth's composition, is about 1,800 miles thick and made up of mostly silicon rocks that are abundant in magnesium and iron. The heating, cooling, rising, and falling of these rocks is believed to affect the Earth's plate tectonics. Whenever the mantle pushes through the crust, it in turn causes a volcanic eruption. The crust is the thinnest and outermost layer of Earth's composition and is around 25 miles thick. It is composed of oxygen, silicon, aluminum, iron, calcium, potassium, and sodium. The crust also contains large plates that sit on top of the mantle. These plates are responsible for seismic activity on the Earth's surface and helps explain the theory of plate tectonics. And here's a little picture here, just a nice visual showing you the inside of Earth and its composition. Moon. Earth's moon is the only natural satellite that orbits the Earth at a distance of 344,400 kilometers. The moon has a circumference of 10,917 kilometers and a mass of 73,476,730,924,573,500 kilograms. It takes the moon approximately 27 days to make a full orbit around the Earth, with only 59% of the moon visible from Earth. The moon's gravitational pull is about 1/6 that of Earth's. In fact, NASA suits used on Apollo missions weighed 180 pounds on Earth, but a mere 30 pounds on the moon's surface. Here is a lunar chart of the moon. As we'll start at the very top of the chart with the first quarter moon and move clockwise. You see the waxing crescent, then a new moon, waning crescent, third quarter, waning gibbous, full moon, waxing gibbous, and back to the first quarter moon. Mars. Commonly called the Red Planet, Mars is named after the Roman god of war, Mars, and it's believed it's received the name due to its red color. The fourth planet from the Sun, Mars is the second smallest planet in our solar system. While flowing water has been recently discovered on the surface of Mars, no known intelligent life inhabits the planet. Climate. The average temperature on Mars is approximately negative 67 degrees Fahrenheit, but this temperature can fluctuate around 30 degrees Celsius throughout the course of the year. Temperatures at Mars's winter pole have recorded the lowest surface temperatures at approximately negative 207 degrees Fahrenheit. The warmest temperatures recorded on Mars are similar to the temperatures of Earth, with a high of 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Atmosphere. The Martian atmosphere is about 100 times thinner than that of the Earth's and is around 95% carbon dioxide. Other elements that make up Mars's atmosphere include oxygen, nitrogen, carbon monoxide, krypton, and trace elements of nitrogen oxide, neon, and hydrogen deuterium oxygen. Giant dust storms frequently kick up dust and debris from the planet's surface and are known as the largest such storms in our solar system. These storms can be seen with Earth telescopes and last up to several months. Composition. Mars's crust lacks the tectonic plates of Earth. This causes molten rock to continue to erupt, forming huge volcanoes like that of Olympus Mons. The crust is made up of sodium, chloride, potassium, and magnesium. Mantle. With an estimated thickness of 900 to 1,200 miles, Mars's mantle has been dormant of volcanic activity for millions of years. Described as a soft, rocky paste, the mantle is mainly comprised of silicon, oxygen, iron, and magnesium. Core. At the center of Mars lays a solid core of nickel, iron, and sulfur. Scientists estimate the core to be between 800 miles and 2,400 miles in diameter. Unlike Earth's core, the core of Mars does not move. Without this movement of the core, the planet lacks a magnetic field to protect itself against harmful radiation. Right here is a diagram of the composition of Mars, as well as a scale for gravity here and surface conditions. Moons. Mars has two natural satellites that orbit the planet in Phobos and Deimos. Phobos is the closest known moon to its planet in the solar system, with a distance of only 3,700 miles from the surface of Mars. The moon is covered with over 3 feet of dusty powder caused by the moon's constant meteor collisions. With a radius of only 11 miles, Phobos has been considered as a scientific colony for humans to more closely observe and study the red planet. Deimos, the smaller of the two moons orbiting Mars, resembles an asteroid rather than a moon. With a radius of only 3.9 miles, the red planet has an orbit around Mars at a speed less than 13 miles per hour. Any faster, and the moon would fly off into space because of Mars's weak gravitational pull. Here's a picture of Phobos. See the craters? Here's a picture of Deimos.